Alright, peace. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Giving double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. Giving double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. Alright, so I was sitting back listening to this individual, goes by the name of BigChapTV, and he was giving his critique on what he thinks about the early release or the potential early release of Larry Hoover. I think he's been in prison for either 40 years or almost 40 years. I think he went during the 70s, right? During the baby stages of what you would call the gangster disciples, or what they would call the GDs. Now the GDs come from basically from Chicago, where I grew up at. And I'm listening to this brother critique about this man, but what's interesting about these people that talk about how he should be released and all this type of stuff. And before I start talking about this thing, everybody done made mistakes. They done did a lot of things, and me too. I think that the guy been in prison for almost 40 years or over 40 years. He should be allowed to go home and spend time with his grandkids, is because he wasn't really in jail for the murder that they said that he committed, but he was in jail because he was the leader of a gang, right? But also we have to look at this situation too. If he gets out of prison, and the guy Big Chap made a statement and said that he denounced the GDs. Well, first of all, see, that's a lie right there. He only saying that is because that is a move that he's making so that he can be able to get out of jail. Most guys that's in prison, they will make statements like this, but when they get out of prison, they still attached to the streets to a certain degree. Now you have some individuals, they give up gang life altogether. And then you have some of them, they do this so they can be able to go home, right? Which is fine and dandy. But when he's talking about how great this man is, he can say that from his own personal standpoint of view. But see, Larry Hoover is another individual that created an organization that put his own people under siege. And I can speak facts on that, is because I lived in those inner cities where the GDs, from the time where they started to really take over down on the low end, dealing with Chicago up until now, and they have brought what you would call terror and destruction in the community. So if Larry Hoover is allowed to get out of prison, what should happen to him is he need to sit his butt down somewhere and go raise his kids, his grandkids, that he hasn't really been able. I'm not saying that he don't see his grandkids, but what I'm saying is that he's not allowed to be a grandfather and be at home and raising his grandkids. But see, these individuals that follow him got the same mindset that he had when he was younger. They killers. See, that's who they are. And if he's allowed to get an early release, or whatever the release is, the stipulation should be on him is that he shouldn't have no contact with these people. It's because of the death and destruction that's going on in the neighborhood dealing with our people. And if he wants to do something that's positive, it has to be positive. It can't be nothing that's negative. And I'm getting tired of these guys that's on television, on the podcast, trying to put this man in a certain type of light that he's not really is. Because these folks like Jeff Ford, Larry Hoover, and many other leaders that had the pulse of the community, they didn't do nothing but cause destruction in the community. And behind the closed doors, they still doing the same thing. So Big Chap and a lot of these guys that talk about this guy, and another thing, see, they talk about the GD Nation. First of all, that's not a nationality. That's just a group of knuckleheads that's out here in the streets that's running amok in the neighborhood. If we're not doing nothing positive in our neighborhoods that's gonna uplift our communities, then we should not even be dealing with these folks. So when we have these individuals like Big Chap, King Erna, how they talk about how great these people are, we got to really scrutinize these people. What is your intentions? It's because a lot of these old gang Negroes that's in the neighborhood, they got the same mindset that they had once before. They just a little bit older, and they're a little bit crafty, and they're a little bit wiser. So young people, old people, middle age, we need to start scrutinizing these people that's in our neighborhoods, representing these people that have done nothing but brought forth destruction and terror. So with that being said, peace, shalom.